Welcome back to GTV8 Muscle and Classics Special, as hosted on May 16th, 2020. Now, the previous part was getting too long, so I decided to split this in two, and in my defense, it's not completely disconnected from what actually happened, as the game servers were particularly crappy that day, and we actually got stuck in the clouds and we had to restart the lobby and pick it up from where we left it. And so we continue with the Coquette Classic, or as I just call it, the Corvette. And just as with the Mamba, I'm a big fan of this car, and have been ever since 2015 when I started playing GTA Online. In fact, this very car is the same one I had since 2015, and I used to like it so much I even used it in heist on a number of occasions, including the Pacific Standard. Anyway, this lap race, we did it before during Grotti event, and it basically starts here on the highway, then goes up the hills, around the vineyard, and then back onto this highway, and well, you can imagine how well it's gonna go with the Corvette. And we are off, and we've got quite the number of racers here, 22 to be precise. So far it's all fun and games as long as we're going straight, but when it comes to turns, this car isn't exactly forgiving with under and oversteer. And Torben is hit by Whitey. And as we turn off the highway towards the mountains, with its tight turns, elevation changes and liftoffs, it's only going to get worse. And here's my first penalty as I hit Mechanico. Once again, Rushki naively thought that putting some mesh fences and traffic cones would stop people from understeering the fuck right into them. Now this is where the trouble begins, cause honestly, as much as I like the mountain roads, I've always hated this one, because combined with my insatiable temptation to drift, I always screw up here. Oh no, I've hit Mechanico again! What the fuck am I doing? Anyway, as I said before, the rest of the lap is just connecting back to the start of the highway. At beginning of lap 2, I caught up to MB Neck, and it does look like I might have hit him there. But at the time I wasn't sure there was actually contact, so I didn't stop for penalty. Anyway, he later overtook me back. But then on the highway lost control and crashed. On lap 3 I was passed by Pyro. Then Torben got close behind and was trying to pass me. However, as I was battling the Corvette, trying to wrestle it into corners and catching its ass all over the place and messing up my turns, I was inadvertently blocking him and holding him back. And to make it worse, as we reached the vineyard, I had another dumb idea to make the best line out of this corner, exiting wide and fast. And I crashed. What a fucking idiot! Obviously, as a result, Torben and a bunch of other guys passed me. Well, at least Rushki crashed as well. Anyway, at this point I decided fuck it, and for the remainder of the race I was going full steam, frantically trying to catch up Torben. Which I didn't succeed in doing. The next race I wasn't present because I got disconnected from the lobby. And in hindsight, I'm glad that out of all races I could have been disconnected from, it was the one with the goddamn ladder. As you can see, some racers opted for the budget-friendly rusty metal version with full cardboard body kit, also known as the Gopnik GTR edition. So far, I've been spectating Rushki, who since the beginning of the race, quite expectedly, gained a few positions and by the start of lap 2 was in number 4. But then he crashed. Then I checked up on Kara, who at the time seemed to be in position 5 or 6, followed by Avat and Pyro. Then I tried spectating Torben, but he was so far back there wasn't even anyone around him. I could not even see him on a scoreboard. So far, the leading spot at different times has been occupied by the Real Abyss, then Mechanico, Doherty, Slimcognito, Saizien, and now finally the Real Abyss regains the lead and he kept it until the end. So for the rest of the race I was spectating Kara, who was going at it against Razor for position 3, until eventually Razor spun out on the final lap. So for the remainder of the race Kara was trying to catch up to Pyro, and he came close when Pyro spun out just before the finish. And the results: the Real Abyss followed by Flying Pyro, Kari Setala, Embinek, Razor, Rushki, Doherty, Treyo, Whitey, Bokul 777, Avat 553, Saizien, Necker, Silver, Simcognito, Abemos, Noster, and that's it. The next race features Grotti GT500. After sorting out extra cars for racers who needed them, we had a false start. This is why no one but the co-host should be posting the start time. Let's go! What a lovely day! And as we all know, it's going to get sideways, both literally and figuratively. And Monostor and Abemos are off the track, while Pyro is doing a barrel roll. Whee! Seriously though, I do feel bad for them, especially if they're on a keyboard. And if you thought that was the end of that, you're wrong. It kinda reminds me of those National Geographic programs. Look at that young male making its way through the wilderness. Finally, a success, and he can continue on his adventure. Meanwhile, we turn left onto Bay Tree Canyon Road. Going downhill towards Los Santos and past the Theta, we gain plenty of speed. Now, next we have to turn left, and lots of people crash here, because if you hit this median with the grass bump, you go airborne and can't turn. Next up, we have this slow right-hand turn on the crest of a hill, which results in a liftoff and loss of traction. And finally another long descending left-hand turn with a similar risk of understeer. After following Bibi for a while, I got bored, so at the beginning of lap 3 I decided to switch to first person and flip them off, which caused me to almost crash. Coincidentally, there was also some kind of traffic jam or crash on that turn. By lap 4, me, Avat and Bibi caught up to Mechanico. Eventually, I overtook Mechanico. And Avat overtook me. Then I hit Avat on that hard left turn, and Mechanico crashed into me. As a result, the Relibis and Funkenstein caught up to us. As we were making the last turn of lap 4, I was surprised to see Boku 777, who seemingly switched from racing to selling fruits. Then on first turn of final lap, I almost hit the Relibis. Damn, that was close! But then he himself crashed into a pole. At the finish line, Co-Sailing in first place, followed by Remy with best lap time. Kara in third place, followed by GT Patrick, Rushki, Mbinek, Avat and Funkenstein. Me in number 9, followed by Bibi, who seemed to have respawned in a Karin 190Z in number 10. Followed by Dodge, Mechanico, the Relibis and Abmos. For the surprise final race, Rushki picked Sterling GT. And right from the start I had a little issue, because someone opened my passenger door and I was stuck with it open. And since these are bloody gull-wing doors, I could not knock them off by driving against the wall or something, so I was pretty annoyed and irritated about it. In fact, by the time the race started, that was all I could think about. Ah, it's coming up! Little did I know that the help would soon come from none other than Funkenstein, whose sudden misfortune literally took my problem away. Voila! I know, what a fucking mess. Once again we turn onto Baytree Canyon Road. going downhill past the theater. Only this time we're turning right. Whoops! Isn't this great? Driving this legend of a car down this splendid twisty road and with a view like this. At this point, the real beast was catching up to me, but as usual with my overcautious braking, I was holding him back. Now, the track consists of two loops, the big one and then smaller one. The tunnel is used twice per lap, so it becomes a point of convergence for racers in different stages of lap completion. As the race progresses, this becomes more relevant, as some drivers continue straight while others need to turn right when leaving the tunnel. Back to the race. So far, Kara is in the lead, followed by Boku, Torban, Mechanico, Bibi, Noster, Pyro, Remy, Kasalin and Avad. And already people are starting to get confused and miss the right turn. Meanwhile, as we were passing the observatory, I tried to let the real abyss pass. But as you can see, instead I ended up accidentally brake checking him again. As we transitioned to lap 2, more chaos ensued. As the lap went on, for a while I tailed Funkenstein. But then eventually I messed up and fell back. In the meantime, Remy passed Kara and took the lead.
I see the open door, but no one goes there anymore. I see an open door, far down the alley. Walk with me through.
As I kept messing up, Rushki caught up to me.
I've never seen before. Beyond the alley, walk with me through the door.
As Rushki kept closing the gap, obviously this wasn't going to last. And then I fucked up again. At this point I decided to pull aside and just let them all pass. To be honest, I really enjoyed tailing these green and blue cars, like a pair of beautiful pearlescent bugs. Can't say the same about the grey matte version, but hey, that's not even his own car. As I braked to turn right after the tunnel, I was rear-ended by Bibi, who was going straight. And that was actually the moment I finally realized about the tunnel crossover. The next lap was pretty uneventful. I caught up with Dodge and overtook him, and in all fairness it was going pretty well. But I wouldn't be me if I didn't mess it up again, as on final lap I completely mishandled that right turn of Bay Tree Canyon Road. At the finish line, whoops, another collision as Bibi is hit by Remy, who finishes first with best lap time. Kasailin is second, followed by Kara and Pyro. Avat in number 5. The Willoughby stops to let Bibi pass because they've been rear-ended by Remy, which is a nice gesture. He finishes 8th, behind Bibi and Rushki. Funkenstein in number 9, followed by Mechanico. In the meantime, I've yet to complete the smaller loop, and am now in real danger of DNF. Now what happened here is that this car's owner has left or disconnected, and unfortunately for Andrei, that happened right in the middle of the tunnel, and there was nothing he could do about it. Mbinek finishes 11th. With less than 15 seconds to go, I once again catch up to Dodge, and just as we enter the tunnel, I pass him. As I looked back with pedal to the floor, I completely failed to notice the stationary car in front of me. Still, with literally a second to spare, we made it. And on that bombshell, it's time to end. Good night. Oh god.